it on? Is it on? Good evening. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Can I have your attention, please? Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention? Oh, we're getting there. Good evening. First of all, let me apologize. I'm getting over a cold, so if I'm a little raspy, it's because I'm a little raspy. Anyway, my name is John Shelton. I have the privilege and the honor of being the chairman of the board for the Saginaw Community Foundation, and I'd like to welcome you to our foundation's 40th anniversary. I'd like to thank the Castle Museum for hosting us this evening. Just thank you. 40 years ago, the Junior League presented a check for $50,000. That was our humble beginning. And if any present or past JA members here, please wave your hands so we can recognize you and thank you. I also like to thank Tom Wood Catering for their food, Opperman's Cork and Ale for the beverages, and Mary's Creative Cakery for the delicious cake. And also in the way back there is Ryan Davison, a student from SVSU, who was providing the entertainment for us tonight. So thank you, everyone. As I mentioned, I have the privilege of being the chair of the Saginaw Community Foundation, but I also have the privilege to sit on the foundation's anniversary committee. And we are kicking off our 40th anniversary tonight. We have a lot of great events planned throughout the year. Out on the tables, there's collateral. Please grab a schedule of events to see some of the fun things and exciting things that we're going to be doing throughout 2024. Another exciting thing I'd like to tell you real quickly, and I'm very proud of this, the Saginaw Community Foundation Board of Directors have started an initiative. It's called our 40 in 40. Basically, we're going to raise $40,000 in 40 days. Okay? And that money will go to an unrestricted fund. It is called our Saginaw Community Foundation Anniversary Fund. So if you happen to see a little card like this, feel free to grab one. You can help us reach our goal. But as I told Renee earlier, don't worry about it. We're going to get you $40,000, and we're going to do that by March 25th of this year. Woo-hoo. Again, I just want to be brief. Thank you for being here. We're excited about all the things that we're going to be presenting to you in 2024. And on that note, let me introduce, I call her the Dynamo, the boss lady, Renee Johnson, our president and CEO.
Thank you, boss. Oh. Thank you, John. And thank you, everybody, for being here this evening. You don't know how you exceeded our expectations as to how many people would want to join us for this kickoff event, because, of course, we haven't had a kickoff event before. So it just really warms my heart to have so many friends with us this evening. And, you know, I have to say that things were definitely working in our favor with the weather. So, but anyway, I know it's still chilly, it's windy, and just the fact that you all still came out here this evening, it really means a lot to all of us. So thank you so much. Let me just also, John started off with some thank yous, and I want to continue with those thank yous. Of course, I do want to thank John Shelton for being our board chair. This is his second and final term as the board chair. So I'm going to miss him, but we have a few more months to go. John, your job's not done. I have a lot of work for you to do. You got to close out this 40th anniversary year in style. So, but thank you for being an amazing chair. I also want to thank members of my team that are scattered throughout. And I know some of them can hear me in the dessert room, and some of them might be, they're not eating the dessert. They're just watching over the dessert. But if they can step out from the dessert room, and anybody else that might be in the hallway here, I do want to thank my staff. If we can give them a round of applause for all their work. There really is more than 2 of them. I don't know where the rest of them are. They're somewhere. So once again, this is truly an amazing time for the Saginaw Community Foundation. We are so proud that the Junior League decided to establish this organization 40 years ago. And some of you might be thinking, or others might be thinking, well, why do you have to celebrate 40? Why wouldn't you wait till 50 years? What's so magical about 40? Well, to be honest with you, since I came to the Community Foundation, which it's hard to believe, but myself, it'll be 20 years in December that I've been the president and CEO, so that just tells me that time has truly flown by. But even when I came almost 20 years ago, we celebrated 20 years. We've celebrated 25, 30, 35. Why wouldn't we celebrate 40? But more importantly, what we're celebrating is we're celebrating this amazing gift that the Junior League gave to this community. And the staff and I are so proud that we get to carry on that torch in managing the everyday activities of the Community Foundation for the betterment of this community. So why wouldn't we celebrate something so special that truly allows us the opportunity to support other organizations, municipalities, education, healthcare? Why wouldn't we celebrate whether it's 40 years or 50 years? We found that it was very important for us to set aside the time and dedicate it to that wonderful gift 40 years ago, $50,000. And today, I will tell you, right, Lori? I'm just going to say it. We are, I'm going to say $90 million at this point in time. And truly, for anybody that doesn't understand endowment, I mean, that's basically what we manage. We manage endowments. The power of endowments in the community. I mean, some of you in this room, a number of you in this room, well, I should say all of you in this room are partners of the Saginaw Community Foundation. We consider you our friends. Some of you are donors of the Community Foundation. Some of you have established endowment funds at the Community Foundation or a scholarship. And I hope you recognize that the power of those endowments, you have to know that, granted, we have been here for 40 years. Your gifts back to the community are even greater than that, right? I mean, we're greater. We've given more than $90 million back in the community. So, I mean, that's just truly the power of endowment in a community. So we can't thank you all enough. So we are also here not only celebrating 40 years of the Community Foundation, but celebrating the partnerships and the friendships over the last 40 years. So I can't thank you enough for being a part of that for the Saginaw Community Foundation. So John asked junior leaguers that were present with us to stand. Now you get the pleasure to hear from a couple of them. And I was so grateful that I could capture a couple of them to come this evening. But whether they're sustaining members of the Junior League or current active members of the Junior League, they are all dynamic women, right? The women that we call the founding mothers of the Community Foundation, they are a force to be reckoned with, right? They laid the foundation for the foundation. The Junior League truly has trained and developed some amazing leaders in this community. And if anything, you should be proud and feel blessed that we have such an organization as a Junior League in our community. So once again, I want to give them a round of applause. So I'm going to step down for a few minutes so I can give them the honor and opportunity to talk about what this organization means to them and how it all got started. And our first person is Janet Crane.
Hi. I have to be grateful to Renee for assuming that I might need something to help me from tripping up the stairs. And I noticed I'm listed as a sustaining member. I just earned my emeritus status of having put in now, 50 years of being a member of the Junior League. But going back to the beginning, we refer to this as the mothers of this group, but we went through the labor and delivery stage of this organization. In case you wonder how it started, I've kind of tried to summarize it. So in 1980, the Junior League of Saginaw membership started considering a serious way to celebrate our 50th anniversary that was coming up in 1984. The consensus was that it should be something more substantial than a gala party. The goal was to find a project in keeping with the Junior League's purpose of benefiting the community in a lasting way through the active participation of trained volunteers. Over the years, League members have served on many different capacities in many different organizations, from direct hands-on service to participation on boards and executive committees. These experiences gave us insight into what was going on in the community and what further needs might be met. We also sought the input from our Community Advisory Board in this capacity. We've always tried to maintain that fingers out in who's knowing what's doing what in the community. We knew that our gift project had to include a way of becoming self-sustaining. We needed to include a plan for future funding as well as the startup of our project. Among these ideas discussed was the establishment of a community foundation. Remember, this was 40 years ago, and the idea of community foundations was just beginning to catch on. And as it happened, Bay City was just looking at this project the same way, and I know we met with some of the people who were working on that also. Our Community Research Project Development Committee, and again, committees in the Junior League do not develop camels. We develop workhorses, draft horses, and our committees really work. Our Community Research Project Development Committee began looking into projects that met the goal criteria and came up with a list of possibilities. In April of 1982, a slate of 7 possibilities was presented to the membership, and a community foundation and a Ronald McDonald House received the most votes. We knew that a lot of work still needed to be done before either of these worthy projects could be launched for the anniversary. Placement interest groups for each were formed in the 1982-83 program year, and both of these groups worked intensively. Program models were located and studied. Community members who shared an interest were identified and consulted. Sustainability, though that word had not particularly come into use at that point, was examined. All of this led up to the final vote in May of 1983. The $50,000 startup fund was at stake, and the fact that we're here today is testimony to the outcome of that vote. Starting in May of 1983, a 4-member committee was appointed to establish and to implement the Saginaw Community Foundation. The Saginaw Community Foundation Planning Committee then started with Holly Johnson as chair, Louise Harrison, Karen MacArthur, and Tani Watkins. Also serving were Ron Schneider as community advisor, myself as a board member liaison, and Mary Ellen Vadic. The league attorney, Ted Braun, and the financial advisor, Lloyd Yo, also worked with us closely to develop bylaws, incorporate, and gain 501c3 status approval. We knew that in order to be accepted and successful, we needed to develop a broad base of community support. We had to sell the Community Foundation concept to key members of the community, as well as among the wider community, in order to ensure ultimate success. Committee members were assigned contact key people in the community whose support and participation was needed. We needed to communicate just what a community foundation is and does, and also why their support should be added. The outcome of this sales campaign is obvious today. And I remember I went out with then president of the Junior League, Jane Juergens. We met with the head of United Way, the Chamber of Commerce, and Terry Pruitt, I wish you were here today, out at, Dow Corning at that time. The Saginaw Community Foundation was formally organized on December 7th, 1983, with the election of the board members and the Board of Trustees. Newly elected officers were Hugo E. Braun Jr., Ted, as president, Sandra McDonough as vice president, William Knapp as secretary, and Terry Pruitt as treasurer. Other board members included Gil Foster, Foster Gibbs, Todd Holmes, Karen MacArthur, and Paul Novak. Membership included 40 people who had been active in the community and represented many and diverse segments of our community. To mark 50 years of active community service, The League hosted a reception in the Saginaw County Historical Museum on February 7th, 1984. The highlight of that event was the presentation by Susan Richter, the 1983-84 Junior League president, of a check for $50,000 to Ted for the recently established Saginaw Community Foundation. Quoting from the 50th anniversary issue of the Junior League Informer, upon receiving the initial seed money, Mr. Braun stated, "A community foundation is an effective way for residents of an area to report and respond individually in their own way to the special needs of their own areas. The Junior League should be commended for their efforts in its establishment." And again, I think I look at all of you out here whose lives have been touched in some way by the foundation. And it gives inspiration to all of us, either as those who give or those who receive, what the foundation has done. And many league members have said this is the best investment we ever made. So Mary Ellen is now going to read this tribute that she wrote in honor of this establishment.
I'll come down first. Oop. Okay, before I do that, I have greetings from a couple of people who were instrumental in the past of the Saginaw Community Foundation, but couldn't be here today. One is Sally Bund, who was president the year that we took the final vote on what our gift would be. She sends greetings and congratulations, and I don't think it was just an accident that her husband was a venture capitalist. I think that the risk taking that the Junior League embarked on that year might have fit into that category. The other greeting is from Sandy Donahue, who Janet mentioned. She was a president in the mid-'70s, but more importantly, she was the first vice president of the Saginaw Community Foundation, or of the Board of Trustees of the foundation. And she asked me to share this anecdote. During the first year, the board sought input from established community foundations. A representative from one in southeastern Michigan recommended that the Bay Area Community Foundation, which had been founded a couple of years before, and the Saginaw Community Foundation join forces if they hope to survive. They didn't follow that advice, and both foundations are flourishing today, as you've just heard from Renee. Sometimes you just have to flout conventional wisdom. You have to add a few years to what I'm going to read because I wrote it 40 years ago, and I found it in my scrapbook. And here you go. We're here today to celebrate not just one thing, but two. A junior league that's 50, now 90, and a foundation that's brand new. Now, I won't try in my few lines to cover 50 years, but I will say while I'm up here, we love those volunteers. If there were no junior league here, you simply wouldn't see many things we take for granted because the work they did was free. Their specialty is opening doors and bringing things about that make our lives much better and that we'd hate to be without. Some doors they've opened through the years can be seen in that display. There was one that day. Now one more door is opening that we celebrate today. The Saginaw Community Foundation is a name too long to rhyme, but the good that it can do here will be evident in time. You think? So welcome the foundation, and to the league, 3 cheers. We can celebrate your birthdays because of volunteers.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Can we give Janet and Mary Ellen another round of applause? You have to know, I mean, I get to work with Janet on a regular basis as she chairs our YWCA fund at the Community Foundation. But it was such a lovely treat for me, though, to actually, before she knew that I was going to ask her to speak, I said, can we have coffee? Well, she was willing to have coffee with me. But, you know, the time that we spent together was just, it was just a lovely time together, because as I was building up to ask her to speak, I just, you know, just learned even more about her. Like I said, even though we've spent some regular time together, it was just such a pleasure to have that time with you. And then Mary Ellen, I would get to see her in passing, maybe at a Festival of Trees activity or something. But I asked if she would meet me for lunch. And little did she know I was going to ask her to speak. But it was also a lovely time to spend with her, because and I'm a sustaining member of the Junior League as well. And these are two individuals that when I was new in the league, I truly looked up to them, to think that they are these dynamic women that really are trailblazers in our community and creating organizations like the Community Foundation, McNally House, these wonderful assets that we have in our community. We owe them so much. So thank you for that time that I could spend with you, and thank you both for agreeing to come up here and offer these wonderful words that you did. So thank you so much. So once again, this is just a kickoff for the 40th anniversary. Do know that we already had one event, and I'm sorry you all weren't invited, because it was just for the staff and the board of directors. But this is just because we like to have fun and we like to celebrate. And I had to make sure that the board of directors was ready to take on this celebration of this year of celebration. So we actually kicked off the year earlier, and we had a trivia night where we were able to test their knowledge as well of the community as well of the Community Foundation. So that's how we initially kicked off, but this is the true kickoff to the 40th anniversary year for the Community Foundation. And I just want to point out, if you haven't picked yours up yet, there are these cards lying around on tables and counters and such. And I would ask you to consider taking one of these, as it does list the other activities that are going to take place this year. I just want to comment that the next event on the card is this great bus tour. And yes, you need to go on the bus tour first. But if you go on the bus tour, you also get upfront tickets, or seats, I should say, to the first Memorial Cup game on May 24th, as we have a suite reserved for 60 of our favorite friends to partake in that activity. But you have to go on the tour first, because you won't get your tickets to the suite until you go on the bus tour. But the bus tour is a tour of where we've made grants over the last 40 years across the county. Now, we're only giving it 2 hours, a 2-hour tour, so we can't cover the entire county, but we're going to cover half the county and take you to some wonderful sites, but then we'll also mention where we've made some other grants throughout the other parts of the county as well. We are going to release those tickets for that event, as I will be a guest of Art Lewis next month, March 14th, I believe it is. And at that point in time, we will release the tickets for that event. First come, first serve, because there's only 60 seats. So if you're interested, be ready to call shortly after March 14th when I announce the release of those tickets on the Art Lewis show. I almost said my Art Lewis show. Don't tell Art I almost said that. But then after that, on September 14th, we are celebrating in gala style. So it's technically our annual celebration, but in September, and it's going to be a gala. And I will announce that yours truly, Lucy Allen, will be coming back for the gala. So my predecessor, Lucy, will be coming home so she can say a few words as well and celebrate with all of our friends. So that's something to look forward to. And we'll have more information on those tickets later as we get closer. And on the backside, we have 2 other events listed. Our annual fundraiser, Philanthropy Uncorked, which we are moving this year to Apple Mountain, so that should be a good time. And then we'll wrap up the year with our Cornerstone Pillar Society Champagne Toast, where we want to thank all of our donors who support our annual campaign and do that with over a champagne toast. So definitely a year's worth of activities that we are so excited to partake in, and we hope that many of you can come. But while I have you all here, we have to celebrate tonight. I do want to point out a couple things. John already mentioned that our wonderful board of directors, which I definitely want, because I forgot to do it before, I want to, if you are a current or former board member of the Community Foundation, because I know a number of you are standing already, if you could just wave. If you could wave, if you're a former or current board member, yep, there's some, there we go. If you could wave, and if we could give them a round of applause because they continue to lead the organization. Because I want you to know that the Community Foundation Board of Directors, current as well as past, they truly are working board members. Once again, I put them through a trivia night to make sure that they were motivated and ready to celebrate 40 years. That alone should tell you that they're a working board. But they believe in this community just as much as anybody else. And they trust that the staff and I will do the hard work that we want to do in the community, but they're there to support us, advocate for us, and financially support us and volunteer their time. So I'm truly blessed to have the current as well as past board members, because even our past board members continue to show up, continue to advocate, and I'm very thankful for them. I also want to mention that thanks to, and we have to give the Castro Museum, because I will tell you, and I'm not going to point you out, but some of you walked in here this evening and said you had never been in the Castro Museum. So I just want us to once again to applaud, because I see Jonathan, the executive director, Catherine Ellison, who's on our board, standing right there, managing the camera as well as this mic. If we can thank them, and then Jen over here is micing us up, and staff around the counter, let's thank them, because this is a gem in our community, so thank you. But I want to point out in the back of the program that was handed to you this evening, we are highlighting the newest exhibit here. And I will tell you, it is gorgeous. So I can't speak intelligently or educated as to what this really is, but basically these are like wall-size prints on the wall in this room of pictures from a book that talks about the history of Saginaw. So I would encourage all of you, if you have not been in here, if you have not been here before, I would say spend as much time here tonight as you can. We are done at 8. So you'll be kicked out tonight at 8, but then I would invite you to come back. But if anything, go check out this exhibit. It is truly amazing. When I was here the other day, you just stand and look at these life-size pictures, and you're like, and it's just fun to kind of see what still is in downtown or what still exists today. So I encourage you to go take a look at that exhibit. But some of the long-standing exhibits that are here too are so enjoyable. And you have to go check out the post office and look through the peepholes. That's always a fun thing to do. So I would encourage you to do that. And thanks again, Jonathan and Catherine and Jen and the entire team for allowing us to be here this evening. And then also on your way to that exhibit, so it's like the Castro Museum knew that we needed the space to highlight the history of the Community Foundation. Because when we were here last week, they literally took down an exhibit for us. No, they didn't really do it for us. They were already planning to take down this exhibit. But they had taken down the exhibit, they had just painted these walls, and we're like, and I shouldn't say we, my marketing communications officer, Brian, he's like, wow, instead of having 10 easels causing trip hazards in the hallway here, we asked if we could hang up these photos, these historical photos that we had printed, if we could hang them up on the wall. And of course they said, yes. So we have our own little mini exhibit here at the Castro Museum, so we're very grateful for that. So we have our own little Hall of Fame. So we ask you on your way to see this new exhibit, you'll see the wall or Hall of Fame for the Saginaw Community Foundation. So truly wonderful pictures, and some of the people that Janet and Mary Ellen mentioned are in those pictures. So we hope that you enjoy that. And that's going to be up for just a short period of time. They're going to keep it up for a little while. So if you don't get that in today, come back another day. So I'm just up here in awe, truly, just to see all of you here and just to know how many friends and partners we have in this community. It truly makes my job that much easier. I love coming to work every day. I love working with my team. I love working with my board, but I also enjoy working with all of you in this room and the community partners and leaders in this community. You all know that there are times that our community takes a lot of hard knocks, whether they're deserved or not. You know, it takes all of us. And if you get one of those magnets that were also on the tables, that's exactly what it says. It takes each of us, right? It takes each of us in this community to believe and invest in this community. Because only we can take care of this community. Only we can talk proudly about this community. And you know, we have this event, if you haven't heard about it, it's called the Memorial Cup that's coming to town in a couple months. We are going to be a spotlight. And I think it would be a shame if Canadians or whoever, the number of people that are going to come to this community, and it would be a shame if they didn't feel the vibe of hope and joy and happiness in this community. And I hope that we can show them that we are hopeful, that we love this community, and that we're proud of this community, and we're going to show them that we're proud of this community. I know that everybody in this room is going to do that. And the Saginaw Community Foundation is truly going to be a partner to help that as well. So, I mean, it truly is wonderful to work at the Community Foundation. It's an honor that we're celebrating 40 years and that I could say that I have 20 years of that with the organization. But we have many more years to go. It is for good forever, right? The team, we're going to make sure of that because there's a lot more that we can do in this community, that we can lay the foundation for the future of our community. So thank you for coming here this evening. Oh, and before I forget, so if you haven't heard, Cumulus Radio is one of our sponsors, and they are doing a knockout job. So Rachel Geddes, who's one of their TV hosts, radio host, she was our facilitator for the trivia night that we had. And she learned from my team that helped co-chair that activity. She learned a lot. I know this, if she only had the time, I'd hire her part-time because she is quite the advocate. I mean, every time she's on the radio, she does a nice shout out about the Community Foundation. So recently, she's been talking about the fact that it's our scholarship season and the scholarship application closed last Friday. And I will mention, we had a record year. We had 900 applicants apply for our scholarships this year, which is amazing. But that means a lot of work, and we need you. We need 300 volunteers to help us read these applications. So Shamika is here. She doesn't have a tablet to write down your names, but I know, I'm speaking on her behalf, I know that she would be happy if many of you, if not all of you, would want to team up and be assigned a packet of applications to review. You can do it at home, in your pajamas, with a cup of coffee. We give you a couple weeks to do it. So I promised I would do a shout out and ask for volunteers. So if you're thinking, how can I help the Community Foundation? That is definitely something in the very near future that we need your help with. So you can let me know. Shamika, are you near? Where is she? Is she around close by? Okay, she's hiding. All right, but I will make sure, if you are interested, let me know or call the foundation and let us know if you'd be willing to review a packet of scholarships. So with that, I'm going to close and thank you again. I want to thank my team. I want to thank the board, the castle, Tom Wood, Barb and Jeff Opperman. Truly, it is wonderful to have you all here this evening to help us kick off what I know is going to be an amazing 40th anniversary year. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the evening and go check out those exhibits. Thank you.